So in the image clearly you can see the type of materials are under the group of metals,
Metal.
right?
Yes,
और ये क्या है, कुछ नॉन मेटल्स हैं.
yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
हाँ. Before we even start discussing about the properties of metals and non-metals now, कुछ basic things हैं. I think we should be having a clear idea about that also. So you know that a substance can be broken down into various simpler substances, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay now. तो एक सब्सटेंस को हम ब्रेक कर सकते हैं बहुत सारे सिंपलर सब्सटेंसेस में, and the smallest particle that you will get out of that substance will be called as an
Atom.
atom, right?
Yes,
The
sir.
smallest particle of a substance is called an atom.
Yes, sir.
और ये substance की हम बात कर रहे हैं, so you know that a substance which cannot be broken down into two or more than two simple substances, let's say by chemical reactions, उसे हम element कहते हैं.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Look, for example, हमारे पास एक कॉपर क्या है, कॉपर एलिमेंट है,
Yes, sir.
कॉपर और एलिमेंट, राइट ना. So you have example of like copper or copper, I mean to say
Sulfur.
iron, copper, yes.
Sulfur.
Sulfur is also there, copper, iron, sulfur. Take any element. So you have these examples. These are the elements because it cannot be broken down into more than two or more into two or more than two simpler substances by usual methods,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
right now. So by the usual method of chemical reactions, यानी कि इसे हम heat करके, right now, or by passing electricity through it, okay,
Electrolysis.
electrolysis, right now. So by those process it cannot be broken down further. तो उसे हम क्या
Yes, sir.
एलिमेंट कहते हैं. ओके,
Yeah.
और एलिमेंट का स्मॉलेस्ट पार्टिकल क्या है, एटम.
Atom.
Atom.
Getting this thing, so the smallest particle of an element is called an atom. And you know you have, let's say, sample of any given one element. अगर कॉपर एलिमेंट का सैंपल आपके पास है और से आयरन और सल्फर, it will be having atom of just one kind only.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So a given element has got similar kind of atom in it. That is clear
Yes,
ना?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
और एलिमेंट क्या है, ये बेसिकली सब्सटेंस है जो सिर्फ एक काइंड के एलिमेंट एटम से बना हुआ है, राइट? एंड you know there are many types of atoms. Okay, there are
Yes, sir.
many type of atoms. जितने types के आपके पास elements होंगे उतने ही types के atoms होंगे. Getting the reasoning?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, let's say if in nature you have discovered 118 plus elements, so thereby you have discovered 118 plus atoms also.
Yes, sir.
Getting this simple reasoning, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. By the way, out of the 118 plus elements discovered so far now, you have got only 92 of them which are naturally occurring.
Yes, sir.
92 elements, these are occurring naturally, while the rest are made in the laboratory, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is basically the periodic table. Okay. This is the periodic table where you have got different type of elements. As many as there are 118 elements in the modern periodic table.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now there is a question that periodic table was given by whom? Like over the years, now periodic table has evolved. अभी जैसा हमें periodic table देखने को मिलता है, it was not always like this.
Yes, sir.
The basis of grouping the elements few time ago, it was different. Okay, so periodic table evolved at the hands of different scientists, and finally the modern periodic table that you see, it was developed by Mendeleev.
So the first periodic table was made by Dmitry Mendeleev.
The full name is Dmitry Mendeleev. Okay, ये मैं सिर्फ मैंने Mendeleev का है. You can say Dmitry Mendeleev. Okay, discovered
Yes.
the or developed the periodic table. in the 1870s, more specifically 1869,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay. So इससे पहले भी कई सारे साइंटिस्ट आए थे, but their analysis failed. Okay. All right. Okay. So that is basically the concept of elements. Now let's see that these elements are further categorized into metals, non-metals, and then they are metalloids also. So the one that you see in the blue color, all of them are
Metals.
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 The one in the yellow color, they are the non-metals, right?
Non-metals.
इसमें भी further हमें classification आगे आप पढ़ेंगे. Like you have the inert elements also.
So then sulfur is a non-metal.
हाँ, exactly. You have
Sir,
inert
silver is a
elements.
metal, right?
Sulfur. Arhan
Oh,
said sulfur.
sulfur.
Sulfur is a non-metal here, no? Sulfur is yellowish in color. It can be broken down into several pieces by just by hammering. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So there also in higher classes you will understand about this group of elements also. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, like that. So you say हम inert elements कहते हैं क्यों? Because these elements does not react with any other element. Okay.
Yes, sir.
ये किसी और element के साथ react नहीं करते. Okay. These are the inert elements. Okay, let's continue the chapter. Talking about metals, metals are basically described as chemical elements that will be losing the electrons to form positive ions. Now, what is this thing now? Yeah.
So the body that loses electrons
Hmm.
is positively charged, and the body which
Hmm.
electrons is negatively charged.
Exactly. Exactly. So look here. जब भी bond का formation होता है, whenever there is a, let's say, formation of any given compound, किसी भी compound का formation होता है ना, let's say कि you have example of for example NaCl. Okay, so you see here chlorine is a non-metal,
Yes, sir.
right? While sodium is a metal, no? Here
Yes,
this
sir.
is sodium. So metals and non-metals के बीच में reaction हो रहा है between sodium and chlorine. So you will get to see now that what will happen कि ये sodium हमारे पास atom है, it will be having its structure somewhat like this. Okay, there will be 2 electrons inside, there will be 8 electrons here. This is the nucleus. The ones that I'm drawing in the smaller red circles, ये क्या है? ये electrons है, okay ना? These are electrons, and one will be on the outside orbit. यहाँ पर होंगे. So in total,
Yes.
how many electrons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and
11.
11. 11 electrons है, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But electrons in higher classes आप पढ़ेंगे कि जब भी outer orbit में electrons exist करते हैं ना, so वो 2n square का rule follow करते हैं. Okay ना?
Yes.
एंड यहाँ पर क्या होता है? ये ऑर्बिट होता है. ऑर्बिट में किसकी बात करूं? जैसे अर्थ का ऑर्बिट होता है, सिमिलर टू दैट देयर इज अ ऑर्बिट इन व्हिच इलेक्ट्रॉन्स रिवॉल्व अराउंड द न्यूक्लियस.
Nucleus.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना? सो ये हमारा पहला ऑर्बिट है, ये सेकंड ऑर्बिट है, ये थर्ड ऑर्बिट है. तो 2n स्क्वायर फॉर्मूला में आप इस फॉर्मेट में जब आप ऑर्बिट नंबर्स प्लेस करते हैं, लेट्स से n इक्वल्स टू 1, देयर बाय 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होंगे, राइट? एंड हम 2 प्लेस
Yes.
करेंगे तो दैट विल बी 8 ना, राइट ना?
Yes, sir.
एंड आप 3 प्लेस करेंगे, दैट विल बी 18. सो इन द ऑर्डर मोस्ट इट शुड बी 8 हियर, 8 होना चाहिए.
Yes, sir.
यहाँ पर अगर हम बात करें, बट यहाँ पर एक एक्स्ट्रा है, सो देयर बाय दिस विल लूज हियर. ये इसे लूज करना पसंद करेगा सोडियम मेटल गेटिंग दिस थिंग और नॉट.
So they
क्या?
either share or lose.
हाँ, either they will share or either they will lose depending upon how many electrons are there on the outermost cell.
Yes, sir.
outermost orbit में कितने electrons है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा.
Yes, sir.
So thereby it will lose and hence it becomes one positive charge develops here.
Yes,
अब ये
sir.
पॉजिटिव चार्ज क्यों डेवलप हो रहा है? क्योंकि नेट डिफरेंस हम देखते हैं प्रोटॉन एंड इलेक्ट्रॉन का, तो एक प्रोटॉन एक्स्ट्रा है इसके पास.
Yes, sir.
Both of you understand this thing. Has Moaz Ahmed joined it or not?
No, sir.
Look, proton is equal to electron. एक स्टेबल एटम में, एक न्यूट्रल एटम में नंबर ऑफ प्रोटॉन्स एंड इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आर इक्वल हियर. Getting both of
Neutral.
you now, right?
Neutral, sir.
Yeah,
Neutral.
neutral, exactly. So earlier there was 11 protons, now there is 10 electrons. एक
Yes,
lose कर
sir.
जाएगा. Getting it, Arham, you also getting now?
Yes, sir.
So net difference is that one extra proton is there. So thereby it develops positive charge, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
when you also know when atoms develop charges over them, then we call them as ions, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
charged atoms are called as ions. So in the case of metals, they will be forming positive ions.
Yes, sir.
Is this clear to both of you or not? Please do let me know.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yes, sir.
It is clear now? Okay. Now, out of 118 elements, almost 90 of them are metals.
Metals.
Okay. Okay. By the way, these 118 plus are the ones that are known to exist. Okay, that we have either developed in the nature or either developed in the laboratory. There could be more elements which are yet to be discovered. This is other views of them.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Talking about the physical properties of metals, starting from you guys, what are the physical properties?
So, solids are gaseous or solid. Uh,
Hmm.
the only metal which is not gaseous or solid is mercury, which is in the liquid form.
Hmm. Which is in the liquid form. Okay. Has Moaz or Ahmed, any of
The
them
Mars
joined
is
yet?
good.
Yeah, Moaz. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam, sir. I'm fine.
Okay, Moaz, please try to join the class at the time now.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
sir.
The
Okay. Okay.
metals are malleable and lustrous. Lustrous.
Metals are malleable and they have a lustrous
They're also
lustrous
ductile.
appearance. They are ductile also, right?
They are
Okay.
sonorous also.
Let me quickly wrap this up for you, Arham, what I just discussed moments ago. We were talking about the metals or non-metals, right? In nature, there are almost 118 elements. ठीक है ना? इन elements को हमने classify किया है as metals and non-metals. Okay, almost 90 out of 118 elements are metals. In this table that you see, this is called as periodic table. The ones that are in the blue color, those are the metals, while the ones that are in the yellow color, they are the non-metals. Okay, moving ahead, we did talked about metals. So we understood that metals are those type of elements now that form positive ions. Now the question is, how do they form positive ions and what is even ions? So I said that sodium is an example of an atom here. Okay, and while sodium reacts with chlorine, so हमें reaction में क्या देखने को मिलता है? Common salt is formed, no? Right?
Yes, sir.
This is sodium chloride.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here I get to see that an a metal is reacting with a non-metal. Chlorine is a non-metal.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thereby, for reaction to take place, there has to be exchange of something between the two. So the thing is that sodium atom has got an one extra electron is there. One extra electron is in sodium atom के पास, and chlorine के पास one less है, one less electron here. So if the sodium atom were to provide one electron to the chlorine atom, thereby their needs will be fulfilled now. इसके पास एक extra electron है, so it will lose. It requires one electron, so it will get from sodium. So thereby they will be sharing with each other, and a bond forms between the two. एक single bond form होता है दोनों के बीच
Metallic
में.
bond.
Metallic bond, to be specific, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
thereby I get to see the compound is formed in this manner. So thereby you have got the sodium chloride. So sodium ने एक इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज किया था. So net charge इसके पास एक extra positive charge आएगा. Right now, so sodium here is becoming a positively charged atom or positive ion form कर रहा है. While chlorine, which is a non-metal, so thereby it becomes a negative ion. Okay. Also, you guys can recall like what did I told you about the other names of positive ions?
Cations
What?
and anions.
Ex-
Anions, positive or anions. No, sir. Cations.
Cations.
cations, cations.
Yes, sir.
हम्म, पॉजिटिव आयंस को हम कैट आयंस कहते हैं,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
while the negative ions are called as
Anions.
Anions.
anions. Okay, do take the screenshot of this. Okay, I'm moving ahead. Okay. Now we were talking about the physical properties of the metal. So thereby we saw that physical properties of metals are as follows. Like in the case of metals, they are usually in solid state.
Yes, sir.
So they are conductive of heat and electricity.
Good, good, very good. At room temperature, they are in solid state. Exception is
A mercury,
Mercury.
which is liquid.
mercury. And mercury, by the way, is toxic. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
so thereby nowadays you get to see that the glass thermometers are no longer in use. It is used in use, but not in that much use. ठीक
So
है,
is
ज्यादा prefer
gallium
नहीं करते.
non-metal?
Which one?
So gallium.
Gallium.
Yes, sir.
Gallium, I think it's a non-metal. Gallium. Let me have a look at this over here. I think gallium. No. Gallium is a metal. Gallium is a metal. Yeah.
So it's also in liquid
See
state.
over here. See this gallium.
So it's also
Yeah. हाँ. Exactly. And in fact, if you were to look at the gallium for the first time, ना, आप इसे confuse करेंगे कि like it's a mercury.
yes, sir.
क्योंकि ये भी कलर क्या होता है गैलियम का?
Silverish.
It is silverish in color. Silvery white color होता है इसका.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that is also one example. Okay, so we could take exception of that also. Mercury and then gallium also. Okay. और ये इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंडस्ट्री में यूज होता है गैलियम का. इफ यू नो कि सिलिकॉन के सब्स्टिट्यूट के फॉर्म में हम इसे यूज करते हैं. बिकॉज
Yes.
सिलिकॉन विच इज अ सेमीकंडक्टर, ओके, वो काफी महंगा होता है, राइट ना. सो इट इज like similar to silicon, and sometimes it is used exchangeably. In place of silicon, gallium can be used.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second thing, you guys told me that metals are malleable.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
They
sir.
can be hammered into thin sheets.
Exactly. Okay. Or also, what does this image tell you about the metals?
So lustrous.
Metals are lustrous. Okay, one more thing can be derived from this. Yes, Moaz, what does this image tell you?
Sir, it's a bell.
It's a bell, and upon ringing the bell, it produces a sound,
Yes,
and
sir.
the bell is made
They
up
are
of a metal.
sonority. They conduct
Yes, sir.
sonority.
Sonorous.
Sonorous. Right now, so that is the metals produce a sound when hit with any other object. Right now,
Yes, sir.
so ये कुछ other properties हमने पढ़ा. Okay, what does this tell you? Just now we discussed about it. That is the property of
Hardness.
malleability.
Oh, okay.
So is metallic bonding allows the atoms to slide over each other? Group of
Met-
atoms.
Metallic bonding.
Yes, sir.
Metallic bonding slides allows to slide over. Will you please repeat again?
So metallic does metallic bonding allows layers of atoms to slide over each other?
No. Metallic bonding will not allow the atoms to slide over each other. Why? Because in the metals, you get to see that all the metal atoms are basically clumped together. Okay, if they were to slide over each other, thereby it will no longer exist in the solid state or in the state it is. Okay. So I think that is the reason why it won't be sliding. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Also, you know that the bonding in the metal atoms now, it gives it's it is due to the property of the bonding between the metal atoms, that the bonding is such that all the atoms are basically clumped together in a mass. Okay. While if they were to slide across each other, thereby, in the case of the non-metals, you will read about the property of brittleness right now.
Yes,
So
sir.
there you will get to see that the atoms will be sliding over each other. So the property of the malleability is basically that the metals can be heated and hammered into very thin sheets. Right.
Yes, sir.
This is
Without
how basically coins are made. Without
without sir, without breaking.
without breaking, exactly. Okay. So that is the property of malleability. So you have sonorous property, and then you have malleability property also. Next thing, look at this image.
Sir,
The-
ductility.
Yes,
exactly.
sir.
So
Ductility.
metals can be drawn into wire. So that is called as ductility. So another physical property is ductility.
Height inside.
Yes,
Height inside.
I didn't get it. Please repeat that.
Metals are highly tensile.
Exactly. Metals are highly tensile. Thereby, they can be drawn into wires. Can
Yes, sir.
be drawn into wires. Malleability says that beaten into sheets can be beaten into sheets.
So
Sonorous means
donators.
we will be adding that also. But right now, अभी हम physical properties की बात करें. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One more thing, that like it expands on heating,
Sir, high boiling point.
high melting and boiling point. Very good. It is having high, while but chemical properties में आएगा. Okay. High melting and boiling point, these will be its chemical properties. Okay. So high melting and boiling points,
Yes, sir.
right? Then we can also say, as you said, conductors of heat and electricity. They are good conductors.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on, we have got the non-metals here. So what are the
Yes.
properties of the non-metals? First of all,
Non-metal.
before we move on with the non-metals, let's understand what basically non-metals are, just like we studied for the metals.
Yes,
So
sir.
non-metals क्या होते हैं? Yeah. Yes. Anyone? Like all the different type of elements. For example, you see the sulfur now. Sulfur, phosphorus, yes, fluorine,
Yes, sir.
or carbon, carbon in the form of coal. So what
Diamond.
is diamond also? Oxygen. You have example of like helium भी है हमारे पास right now. So all these type of elements that you see, what do you think? Like we say them as we consider them as non-metals. Huh?
The group of elements in the periodic table that lacks the qualities and properties of metals.
Hmm. Okay, they do lack the properties of the metals. Okay, in a general way, we can say that those elements that lacks the property of metals, those are non-metals. Okay, so हम ऐसे कह सकते हैं. What else do we notice about them?
So they have different densities.
Yeah, their densities could be different. Also, their atoms are uh, smaller than those of metals.
Yes,
जब
sir.
Yes,
आप
sir.
periodic table पढ़ेंगे, so thereby you will get to understand that as you move from left to right, the atom size decreases.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so in general, जो atom sizes होते हैं non-metals के, it would be smaller than the what? Smaller
Metals.
than that of metals, right?
Yes, sir.
Also, they accepts electron. जब bond का formation होता है, like here, bond formation हो रहा है एक metal and non-metal के बीच में. So they are gaining electrons.
They are usually negative.
They are usually negatives, and they are also called as electronegative. Electronegatives होते हैं non-metals.
And
Was you are getting this thing or not?
Yes, sir.
Electronegative. That is, non-metals are electronegative. While what can we say about the metals? They are
Positive.
electropositive. Okay, so the difference should be clear. What do you mean when we say electropositive? Meaning that it will lose electron. Electronegative means it will be gaining electron. Right now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So ये कुछ general properties हमने देखा. Right. First property about the non-metals, we understood that the atoms of non-metals are usually smaller.
So they are brittle.
Yeah. पहले हम define करते हैं non-metals को. Okay, then we will be studying about the physical properties also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the atoms of non-metals are usually smaller than that of metals. Okay. Second thing we get to see about the non-metals that they are electronegatives.
They
Negatives.
contain anions.
Since they gain electron, वो electron gain करते हैं, right? और
Yes.
when they gain electron, they develop the charge on them, जिसे negative charge कहते हैं और anions कहते हैं. Getting it or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, talking about the physical properties of the non-metals. So given in the normal conditions में अगर हम बात करते हैं तो normal conditions what, like temperature normal है, pressure is normal right now.
Yes, sir.
So
So non-metals are solid and gaseous at room temperature, and the exception is bromine.
Good.
So
Good.
they are brittle in nature. They
They are
can be.
brittle in nature. Yeah, they can be.
They're
Continue.
malleable and non-ductile.
They are non-malleable and non-ductile. Neither you can beat them into sheets nor you can draw them into wires. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But
Also,
they're not hard.
they are not hard. Good.
So
Sir, but
Mhm.
non-metals are not hard, but diamond.
There would be exceptions. Na. The exceptions will be always there. Chemistry में
Okay.
you will find exceptions everywhere. Okay, now
but they are not luscious.
they are not lustrous. Also, they are poor conductors of electricity, right?
Yes, sir. And
Yes.
heat.
Okay, poor conductors of heat also, and they are not sonorous as well, right now. Okay, so let's summarize it. कि हमने क्या क्या properties बात की अभी. First property was that they are found as what?
Solid and
They
gaseous.
are found in
So they also usually react with oxygen.
yeah. Under the chemical properties, we'll be studying that also. Both metals or non-metals reacts with oxygen, with water, with acid, with bases as well.
They
They
form
are found in
acidic oxides.
around under the chemical properties, we'll be dealing with that as well. Okay, right now some of the physical properties. So they are found in solid as well as gaseous state. Okay, and one of them is found in liquid state also. Okay, now we know that in case of metals, except the mercury, all of the metals were at solid state at the room temperature. No,
Yes, sir. Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. Now we, in the case of non-metals, we get to see that. Take example of like sulfur, phosphorus, fluorine, or carbon, or oxygen, or helium. हाँ, ज्यादातर नॉन मेटल्स हम देखते हैं या तो वो लिक्विड स्टेट में होते हैं या फिर वो गैसेस स्टेट में होते हैं, राइट?
Yes,
सो व्हाट डज इट मीन कि जनरली इनका मेल्टिंग एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट लो होता है.
yes, sir.
Look here. When does a given substance exist in the liquid or gaseous state? एक सब्सटेंस लिक्विड और गैसेस स्टेट में कब एग्जिस्ट करता है?
When they have a low boiling point.
When they have got a low melting point, okay, and low boiling point also. Both of you
Yes,
getting
sir.
this thing? All of you getting this thing now? right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
While usually metals do not exist in the liquid state because their melting and boiling point are high.
Yes, sir.
So they are found in solid, in as well as in gaseous state, and there are always exceptions. So thereby we would say that they are found in liquid state also. They are found in solid, liquid, and in gaseous state. Okay. Examples are what? Like coal.
Oxygen,
Hmm.
hydrogen,
Yes. Diamond, hydrogen,
Carbon,
carbon,
sulfur.
sulfur, right? Of
Yes, sir.
phosphorus.
say
So these are
bromine.
some, bromine. Yeah. So these are some of the examples of the non-metals. Second thing we get to see that they have got low melting and boiling point. That is the reason why a wood will catch fire easily,
Yes,
because
sir.
it is basically a non-metal. So low
Yes, sir.
melting and boiling point. Okay. Also they are brittle, meaning that when hit with a hammer they will break into pieces.
Yes, sir. That's why
So
they're
break,
non-malleable and non-ductile.
exactly. It will be catching basically fire if you were to heat it right now.
They are not conductive.
Okay, exactly. So they are also poor conductors, of both
Heat and
heat
electricity.
and electricity. Getting this now.
Yes,
So
sir.
have a look at this over here. A piece of coal or piece of glass. Oh. So
The
when
coal
they
is
are,
not shiny. It's either obsidian.
it might be like anthracite हो सकता है ये. Okay now. So just understand like for the purpose of just what do you see resemblance when ये image ली है. So just say like a coal है.
Yes,
Okay
sir.
now. Or let's say this is a piece of glass. So when you break them, when you hammer them, it breaks into several pieces.
Yes,
That
sir.
is the property of brittleness. Okay. Also, like you get to see, most of them are not shiny. The one that you see here in the image, that is what?
Limestone.
No, it's sulfur.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, ये क्या है? Sulfur है. All right. By the way, sulfur is used in different things. Like car batteries में use होता है ये. हाँ?
Yes, sir.
आपने देखा होगा ये कार बैटरीज में यूज होता है, एंड इट इज यूज टू मेक फर्टिलाइजर्स भी बनाने के लिए इसका हेल्प यूज किया जाता है.
The
और इट इज
mineral
आल्सो एग्जैक्टली टू एक्सट्रैक्ट द मिनरल्स आल्सो. मिनरल्स एक्सट्रैक्ट करने में भी इसे यूज हम
oil
करते हैं.
refining.
ऑयल रिफाइनिंग में भी गुड. सो ऑयल रिफाइनिंग में भी इसका में यूज देखने को मिलता है, राइट?
Yes,
ओके, सो दीज आर some of the uses of the sulfur, right now. So इसलिए सल्फर को हम क्या कहते हैं? Is also called as what? Sulfur is also known as burning stone. हम इसे कहते हैं. You know why? Because जहां से हम इसे नेचर से एक्सट्रैक्ट करते हैं ना, वहां पे बेसिकली ये बर्निंग सेंसेशन करता है. लाइक if someone were to inhale the sulfur gas ना, it will create a burning sensation to the eyes and to the nose.
sulfuric.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
right now. So this is also called as burning stone. And the people who are involved in the extraction of silver, it's a very risky business. It's a very risky thing. You might have seen people carrying loads of sulfur crystals on their back, especially in the hilly areas
Yes,
जहाँ
sir.
पर सल्फर का में रिसोर्स सल्फर देखने को मिलता है. Getting it now? Okay. So one more thing we got to understood about it, that it is non-shiny, non-lustrous होता है ये. Is Moz in the class or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Moz getting these things or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's talk about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So what are the chemical properties? So chemical properties में basically हम chemical reactions की बात करेंगे.
Yes, sir.
Okay, like how metal will be reacting with oxygen, how it will be reacting with water, how it will be reacting with the acid or with the bases. Like this, we are going to talk about. Okay, so first of all, let's to talk about the reaction of the metals. Metals की पहले बात करते हैं, then later on we'll be talking about non-metals. All right now. So talking about the chemical properties of metals, first of all हमने थोड़ी देर पहले भी पढ़ा था in the definition, like the metals are electropositive or negative.
Positive.
So
Positive,
ये
sir.
electropositive होते हैं.
They are also electron donators.
Electron donators, that's why they are electropositive. Getting it now.
Yes, sir.
Second thing हम क्लास में पढ़ने वाले हैं कि when metals will react with water ना, so metal oxide का formation होता है and hydrogen gas is released.
Yes, sir.
They
Hydrogen
are
gas is
naturally producing basic oxide.
basic oxide. Exactly. Metals react with water to form basic oxides. That also we will be studying. जब metals oxygen के साथ react करते हैं basically with the air, so thereby it will also lead to formation of metal oxide only. वहां
Yes,
पर
sir.
हाइड्रोजन नहीं होगा क्योंकि वाटर के साथ रिएक्शन नहीं हो रहा यहाँ पर. Okay, one more thing about the metals you will study in the class, that metals will be reacting with acids also. So
Yes, sir.
metals acid के साथ react करते हैं. By the way, one of you, Moz, what is the definition of acid?
Yes, sir.
Salt plus hydrogen का formation होगा. Acid, how do we define acid? What is acid?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, na?
Okay.
The acids are substances that, when dissolved in water, produces hydrogen ions.
Hmm. Very good. So when acids are basically in the alkaline solution, तो वहां पे डिस्पर्स क्या करते हैं, हाइड्रोजन आयंस डिस्पर्स करते हैं, while bases क्या करते हैं, वो हाइड्रोक्साइड करते हैं.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have any example of, let's say, let's take H2SO4. What is the name of this acid?
Hydrogen sulfate.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen sulfate or sulfuric acid basically. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you get to see that ये हम solution form में exist करेगा ये. It is in alkaline state, let's say. Not alkaline. Alkaline is a different thing. It is basically in the solution state, meaning
Yes,
that
sir.
it consists of water. Aqueous हम उसे कहते हैं. Okay. Aqueous means it consists of water. तो जब liquid
Yes, sir.
state में हम देखते हैं, anything that you see in the liquid state, it is because water is present in that. So thereby it is also called as aqueous. Aqua refers to water. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when you understand, like when you study the type of ions found in the acid, you get to see that it consists of hydrogen ions, or basically hydronium ions. Hydrogen ions आपको देखने को मिलेंगे इसमें.
Yes, sir.
Okay, while for example NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide. Okay, so thereby you will get to see the ion found is OH minus. Okay, let me simplify this, otherwise आप confuse होंगे. Look, जब आप देखते हैं कि H2SO4 ये डिस्पर्स होता है H2 and SO4 आयंस में, तो यहाँ पर क्या है, हाइड्रोजन आयंस है. This is called as hydrogen ion. Getting Arham, Moz, you guys are getting this thing or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Getting no? Okay. And Arhan, in the case of a base, sodium hydroxide is an example of base. So this is made up of two type of ions. Okay, OH and Na. Na plus and OH minus. So इसे हम hydroxide ion कहते हैं.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now since you guys are about to be going in class 9, so you should be aware of these things, like hydroxide ions are found in bases. Okay, while hydrogen ion is found in acids. Okay. In the unit classes, you are generally taught that basically acids taste sour, bases taste bitter, but one can't go on to simply taste a acid, taste a substance to say whether it's a base or acid.
The acids taste salty, and meanwhile, basics taste bitter.
Salty or it's more close to sour taste.
Yes, sir.
It's more close to sour taste. Salty तो basically हमारा salt होगा ना basically. Okay, so where was I? We were talking about the chemical properties of the metals. So we did say that talking about the chemical properties, it will be reacting with the water, oxygen, and acid to form what? It
Yes,
will.
sir.
Mhm. So metals will be reacting with oxygen. Okay, let me turn it off. Metals react with oxygen to form metal oxide, and it reacts with acid to form salt plus water. And what about the bases? Two metals react with bases also.
Yes, sir.
So thereby also there will be formation of salt and hydrogen. Getting these things or not?
So displacement reaction.
Obviously, there will be displacement reaction here. Okay, because the more reactive element will be displacing the lesser reactive element here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so जो ज़्यादा reactive element होगा वो lesser reactive element को what do you say displace करेगा.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
for those of you who are getting confused, let me clarify that what we mean to say here. By the way, take the screenshot of this, and all of you are required to note this down in your copies after the class.
So does zinc displaces copper sulfate?
Okay, tell the names of the compounds where reaction has to take place.
So zinc plus copper sulfate is equal to zinc sulfate plus copper.
Huh. Look here, talking about the zinc and the copper. Out of zinc and copper, which one is more reactive?
Zinc.
Zinc is more reactive, no? So thereby
Yes,
zinc will be replacing copper from its place.
Zinc sulfate plus copper
So thereby zinc sulfate is formed.
plus copper.
Plus copper will be also there. Copper left हो जाएगा. Okay ना. So yes, it will replace. क्योंकि मैं आपको reactivity series भी पढ़ाऊंगा. See here. So thereby you will get to see that as you go down this list, okay, the reactivity is increasing, decreasing.
Yes, sir.
So see here, where is the zinc lying? Zinc is lying over here.
so fifth.
Where is copper lying here? Copper is lying here.
Fourth.
Sir, there is
Okay.
also one more, right?
Which one?
After gold, there is platinum.
After gold, there is platinum.
Yes, sir.
In some books you will find that also platinum. So we will come to that also, but let's be systematic. Otherwise, for those who haven't studied, it will be difficult for them. ठीक है ना? ये भी हम discuss करने वाले हैं class में.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this in general is the chemical properties of the metals which we are going to be studying. Okay, first of all, let's do this one. How metals react with oxygen. See here, you have a classic example of magnesium ribbon here. ये magnesium ribbon आपने hold किया हुआ है, right?
Yes, sir.
And you basically bring it close to a burner here. This is called as Bunsen burner.
Yes, sir.
इसे हम Bunsen burner कहते हैं. Getting it, was
Yes,
in
sir.
laboratory you will find such a burner. This is called as Bunsen burner. So you have the magnesium ribbon. So
So is it
magnesium
burning?
ribbon, it is actually burning. Look over here. You brought a magnesium ribbon. Actually, in this diagram, it is burning actually. ये burn कर रहा है. So magnesium ribbon, when brought in contact with the air, it burns with a dazzling white light. ये बहुत ही एक dazzling white light produce करता है.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Magnesium ribbons.
exactly. Magnesium ribbon, as you can see in the image as well. These are the magnesium. So, in the iron welding, what do you see in the iron welding? How the two irons are basically welded together. There you are basically using the magnesium ribbon. अब
Magnesium oxide.
मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड का फॉर्मेशन होता है, बट आई एम सेइंग हियर in the iron welding, if you were to see how the irons are welded together, thereby basically magnesium ribbons are used to weld two iron pieces together. So what reaction is basically happening? This magnesium is reacting with oxygen gas to form magnesium oxide. Are you guys getting all this thing or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, now
Yes, sir.
so the magnesium oxide is formed, and magnesium here is basically a metal.
Yes,
So
sir.
we can also say that a metal oxide is formed here. Is that clear to everyone here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Was is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Getting this thing now? Okay, so you
Yes,
will
sir.
be writing this example under the reaction of metal with oxygen. Magnesium oxide cup example लिखेंगे. Okay, so hope that is clear to everyone. Now moving ahead, let's understand that how metals will be reacting with water. Okay, so in that case, metal oxide along with hydrogen gas will be released. Okay, now, ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
So let's take an example. Let's take the example of sodium metal. It reacts with water. Sodium reaction of metal with water. So basically what will happen, you will have example of sodium. By the way, you might have seen in videos like sodium बहुत explosive होता है. See
Yes,
this
sir.
image over here. See this
Yes.
image over here. That is basically if you were to have even some very tiny granules of sodium metal, you put it in water, the reaction will be very explosive.
It is stored in chlorine. I mean,
Kerosene oil or
yes,
in
sir.
some any other oil. So
Yes,
you
sir.
will be having sodium plus water. So thereby sodium, see, so thereby sodium hydroxide is formed along with release of hydrogen gas,
Yes, sir.
right? So metals like the sodium, they are very reactive and they will be reacting with water to form a base here. Sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH. Okay, now
Yes, sir.
this is Na, this is H2, this is NaOH. Okay. Also कितने एटम्स कंबाइन करेंगे? दो एटम्स होंगे सोडियम के, टू molecules of water, okay, and two compounds of sodium hydroxide. They will be reacting in order to complete this reaction. So you have example of metals. Also phosphorus is also highly explosive.
Yes, sir.
Phosphorus, sorry, not the
Yes, sir.
phosphorus,
Why
I'm saying
phosphorus?
potassium.
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 Yes,
So
sir.
potassium is also very reactive. And you know that generally we know that metals are solid at the room state. We have exceptions. In the exception, you have like, and also we know that the metals are usually hard, right, Moz?
Sodium.
But sodium,
Yes,
you
sir.
have the exception. You can basically cut it using a knife. एक knife से आप
It's,
इसे cut कर सकते हैं.
it's like a clay.
Looks like a clay. Okay, and it is having a lustrous appearance. But ये lustrous appearance lose हो जाता है as soon as it comes in contact with the air. So metals like sodium and potassium are highly reactive. They react with water to form bases. Okay, और bases को हम क्या alkalis भी कहते हैं. Bases are also called as alkali.
Yes, sir.
Let me just write base if you get getting confused. So metals will be reacting highly reactive metals like the sodium or the potassium will be reacting with water to form the bases, and hydrogen gas is released.
Yes, sir.
So hope that is clear. You have other examples also. Let's say कि calcium क्या है हमारे पास, metal या non metal है?
Say metal.
It's a metal, good. So you have example of calcium. Calcium will be reacting with water. So thereby again a base will be formed. That base is called as calcium hydroxide. So you can notice like जब भी मैं bases की बात कर रहा हूँ, I am writing the word hydroxide here. Getting
Yes,
it
sir.
now? So
Yes, sir.
calcium hydroxide along with hydrogen gas is released. Moz, you also getting these things now, right? Okay, but here's the
Yes, sir.
take here. Look here, one important thing has to be noted here. Like only the highly reactive metals will be reacting with water to form a base and evolve hydrogen gas. Okay now,
Yes, sir.
right? But हमारे पास examples are like magnesium, okay, or the zinc. So you know that the examples of like magnesium or zinc, they will not reacting with the normal water. आपको hot water देना पड़ेगा, right? In order for the reaction to take place, you will be having hot water
Yes, sir.
क्योंकि ये lesser reactive है, magnesium and zinc. So magnesium or zinc will be reacting with hot water, and thereby when magnesium reacts with water, so thereby instead of the base, magnesium oxide is formed along with the hydrogen gas.
Yes, sir.
Getting this thing now? So here the thing we get to see that a base is not formed. So remember the three examples like the sodium, potassium, and the calcium. These are some of the highly reactive metals that will be forming base and release hydrogen gas.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So thereby, other exceptions like the magnesium and zinc will not be reacting with the cold water, but will react with hot water in order to form the metal oxides and hydrogen gas.
Yes, sir.
So ये exceptions आपको याद रखने हैं. That is very important.
Yes, sir.
So here the products formed are metal oxides plus hydrogen gas. Okay, so that is clear. Any confusion so far? Any questions?
No, sir.
One more thing was there. Okay, by the way, here you have put sodium. What is the reaction? Can you write the chemical equation here? Do tell me the chemical equation here. What will be the chemical equation? Chemical equation क्या होगा? Yeah. Yes, Moz, Arhan, Arham. Na reacts with water.
Oxygen.
Sodium reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide and release hydrogen gas. Okay, getting it now?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, equation जैसे mathematics में पढ़ते हैं, thereby you have the equal to sign. Okay, you have the chemical equation basically means that you have the chemical expression of the given compounds. Okay, you have basically the chemical formula of the given compounds or the elements, and thereby you write the reactants on one side and you write the products on the another side, and then write a arrow between them. So इसे हम chemical equation कहते हैं. So if I use the term chemical equation, you have to write the chemical formulas like this. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hope it's not going over the head.
No, sir.
So also you know that whenever there's a explosive reaction here यहाँ पर, so thereby a pop sound is produced.
Hydrogen.
That is because of the hydrogen. Very good. So ये pop sound hydrogen gas की वजह से produce हो रहा है. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think let's skip it here. एक और exception हम पढ़ सकते हैं. एक और for example, if you were to talk about iron, now, where does it lie? Look over here. Is
Sir,
it
it's
here in?
after
No, it's not here. Yeah, it's here. It's here. It's after zinc. Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
here you can see here potassium, sodium, and calcium lies here. Potassium, sodium, calcium, right, Moz?
Yes, sir.
These are lying
Ammonia.
here while
Yes, sir.
iron is over here. So iron is less reactive than all the other which is above it.
It
Yes, sir.
So
usually
you
rusts.
exactly. So thereby iron will be basically reacting with water, basically the moisture in the air to form rust. इसे हम ferrous oxide कहते हैं,
Yes, sir.
ferric oxide, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So not all the metals will be reacting with water to form base and hydrogen gas. Okay. By the way, which two of them will be formed? Which name three such metals that will be forming oxides of metals and not bases?
So potassium,
No,
sodium.
potassium, sodium, they will be forming bases now. हम
So what did
oxides की बात कर रहे हैं.
oxides?
Oxides.
The
Copper.
magnesium and
Hmm.
calcium.
Magnesium,
Cal-
calcium. No, calcium also forms a base. Calcium भी base का formation करता है. See over here, calcium
Copper.
hydroxide, that is a base.
so copper.
Copper, copper, good. Copper is there. Okay. In fact, examples of like